Hello everyone. I am Prabha K, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. Today we'll have a discussion on machine instructions and programs. Now we'll start with number representation, what are the arithmetic operations and how the characters are represented in a computer system. We consider the signed integer number which can be represented using three major representation formats. First one, sign and magnitude. Second one, ones complement form. Third one, twos complement form. Now, we'll assume the word size is 4-bit. That means we consider a 4-bit machine word having the bits B0, B1, B2, B3, B0 acting as an LSB, B3 acting as an MSB. Using 4-bit machine code, 16 different values can be represented ranging from 0000 to 1111. The table gives you a 16 different values of 4-bit binary number which consists of 8 positive numbers and 8 negative numbers. Now we'll analyze sign and magnitude representation of binary number in computer system. Consider a 4-bit number 0100 which is equal to plus 4. Here the MSB bit 0 represents sign of the number and the remaining 3 bits represent magnitude of the number. Similarly, 1100 is equal to minus 4 where the MSB bit 1 represents negative sign. The remaining 3 bits 100 gives the magnitude of the number which is equal to 4. Ones complement representation for 4-bit binary number. The diagram gives you the clear picture of 16 combinations of 4-bit binary number. From 0000 to 0111 represent positive number ranging from plus 0 to plus 7, and then from 1000 to 41 represent minus 7, minus 6, minus 5 like that up to minus 0. These are the negative numbers. Here also the MSB bit represents sign of the number and the remaining 3 bits will be the ones complement equivalent of a decimal number. For example, if I consider a 4-bit number 1000, here the MSB bit 1 gives the sign of the number that is negative. The remaining 3 zeros will be the ones complement form of the number. Converting this number into an ones complement, in this case it is 000. Converting into ones complement will get 111. 111 in binary is equal to 7 in decimal. So the total value of this 1000 is equal to minus 7. Two's complement representation. In this two's complement representation, once again a 16 combination of 4-bit binary number is considered. Plus 0 to plus 7 remains same as the previous two, whereas the negative numbers varies. Here we don't have the negative 0. Only one representation is there for 0 and more negative number than the positive number. For example, the negative number ranges from minus 8, minus 7, minus 6 up to minus 1 for 1000 to 1111 respectively. Consider a number 0100 where the 0 which is the MSB bit represent the sign of the number. The remaining 3 bits will be in the two's complement form of the decimal equivalent. Here if I consider 1000, 1 gives you the sign bit which is negative here. The triple zeros has to be converted into two's complement in order to get the magnitude of the number that is equal to minus 8. Therefore, 1000 in two's complement representation is equal to minus 8 in decimal number. This table gives you an overall representation of 4-bit binary number for sign and magnitude, 1's complement as well as 2's complement. Now we'll discuss an addition and subtraction operation using 2's complement method. Consider a number 4 and plus 3 in decimal representation. 4 is represented in 2's complement as 0100 and 3 is represented as 0011. As both the numbers are positive, we can directly add them. To get the final sum. Now consider the another number minus 4. The minus 4 is represented in 2's complement with 1100 and minus 3 is represented in 2's complement with 1101. Now adding these numbers, we are going to get a carry. Carry has to be ignored, and whatever the remaining 4 numbers, that will be the final sum. 1001 in 2's complement is equal to minus 7. So addition of minus 4 and minus 3 gives you the sum minus 7. Similar operations are shown here. 4 minus 3. 4 is a positive number represented as it is. Minus 3 is a negative number represented using the 2's complement representation. Adding them, we are going to get the carry. Neglect the carry, and whatever the result, that will be the final. Now minus 4 plus 3. Minus 4 is a negative number. Plus 3 is a positive number. Add them. The number what we get it is 1111. It is a 2's complement representation for minus 1. There is the overflow problem when we add two positive numbers to get the negative number or two negative numbers to get the positive number. The overflow problem occurs. Here in this, when we add minus 7 and minus 2, minus 7 and minus 2, there will be a plus 7. This acts as an overflow. 5 plus 3 is equal to minus 8. 5 plus 3 is minus 8. How the overflow occurs? When we add the representing the given number in the 2's complement form, when we add, we get an 1000, which is an 8. So answer is wrong. This we call it as an overflow error. Similarly, the overflow occurs when we add two negative numbers. And negative number for minus 7 is 1001. Minus 2 is represented in 2's complement with 1100. When we add this, we will get a carry. By ignoring this carry, the answer will be 0111, which is equal to 7, and this is the condition of overflow. Overflow when carry in to the higher order bit does not equal to the carry out. Character in a computer system is any letter, number, space, punctuation mark or symbol that can be typed on a computer. The word computer, for example, consists of 8 characters. The phrase hi there takes up 9 characters. Each character requires 1 byte of space, so computer can take up 8 bits. Special characters like a percent, ampersand, single quote, left parenthesis, right parenthesis are also represented with the 8-bit code. Now we'll have a discussion on IEEE standards for floating point numbers. The floating point numbers are called as the real numbers because they hold signed integers, fraction and mixed numbers. A floating point number has 3 parts: a sign bit, a biased exponent, a significand, which is also called a fractional part. A floating point number are written in a scientific binary notation. The Intel family of arithmetic processors supports 3 types of floating point numbers: short numbers, which will be of 32-bit length, long numbers, which will be of 64 bits length, and temporary numbers which will be of 80 bits length. Single precision floating point numbers. Single precision floating point format is a computer number format, usually occupies 32-bit in a computer memory. It represents wide dynamic range of numerical values by using a floating radix point. These are also called as short numbers. These are single precision numbers with a bias value 7fh. The diagram gives you a single precision floating point number format with a 32-bit wide 0 to 22nd bit, that is total 23 bits, represent the fractional part. 23rd bit to 30th bit represent exponent part, which is of 8 bit. The last bit, 31st bit, is MSB bit, which is a sign bit. Double precision floating point numbers. Double precision floating point format in a computer format usually occupies 64 bits in a memory. It represents wide dynamic range of numerical value by using the floating radix point. Double precision floating point numbers have the bias value of 3FF. The diagram gives you double precision floating point number format of 64 bit wide. 0 to 51 bit represent fraction part, 52 bit to 62 bit, total 11 bits represent the exponent part, MSB bit represents sign bit. Temporary floating point numbers. Temporary floating point numbers are 80-bit real numbers. They have a bias value of 3FFH. These are also called as extended precision floating point numbers. Diagram gives you 80-bit floating point number. 0 to 64 represent 0 to 63 represent Now we'll analyze how to convert decimal number into a floating point number and floating point number into a decimal number. Convert decimal number into floating point number. To convert the given decimal number into a floating point form, we need to follow the following steps. Convert decimal number into binary number. Normalize the binary number. Calculate the biased exponent. Represent the obtained binary number into a floating point format. Consider an example of converting decimal number into 32-bit floating point number. Here I have considered plus 12. Here the sign is positive and the magnitude is 12. Convert the given decimal number into binary number. For 12, we get binary number as 1100. Consider the binary number and convert into normalized form by substituting binary point after the MSB bit, and whatever the remaining lower bits are there, we need to consider them as an significant, and how many bits are there after the binary point, that will be the exponent value. Then the sign is positive, hence the S is equal to 0. Calculate the biased exponent for the single precision number using the bias value 7fh. Add the exponent value and 7fh, converting them into binary, and whatever the sum we obtain, that will be the biased exponent of the given decimal number. Then accumulate all these three parts. The first one is your significant, the second one is your biased exponent and the sign bit, and put them into a 32-bit single precision floating point number from 0 to 31. It is a total format. In that 0 to 22nd bit, is your significant part. Start filling it from the 22nd bit 100. Here 100. The remaining all bits are considered as 0. And this is your biased exponent value from 23rd bit to 30th bit. The last is sign bit, substitute it as a 0. This is a 32-bit single precision floating point number for a given decimal number plus 12. Convert the given decimal number into 64-bit floating point number, that is a double precision number. Consider the same example, that is plus 12 in decimal. Consider it and convert into binary. Normalize in the same method, that is 1100. When we normalize it, we get 1.100 into 2 to the power of 3, where this fraction part gives you the significant and the power of 2 will give you the exponent part. The sign here, it is positive, so the sign bit value is 0. Calculate the biased exponent for a double precision number using the bias value 3FFH. Consider the exponent in binary form and bias value in binary form and add both, that is exponent and bias value. Whatever the sum we get, that will be your biased exponent. Any extra bit generated in the MSB should be neglected and substitute significant exponent biased exponent and the sign bit in a 64-bit double precision floating point format. Now we'll have a discussion on how to convert given floating point number into a decimal number. Consider the given floating point number and perform the following steps to convert it into decimal number. Consider the given floating point number, separate sign bit, biased exponent and significant parts. Convert biased exponent into true exponent by subtracting the respective bias value from the biased exponent. After subtraction, convert the result into decimal value and it is considered as exponent value. Write the number as normalized binary number. Convert normalized binary number into denormalized binary number. Convert denormalized binary number into decimal number. Consider an example of converting 32-bit floating point number into a decimal number. This format gives you the 32-bit floating point number. 0 to 22nd bit is your significant part. 23rd bit to 30th bit is biased exponent part. The last bit is sign bit. Now sign bit is 0, indicating positive number. Biased exponent is 1, 00, 00, 0, 10 and significant part is 1, 00, 00 up to 0th bit. Now convert the biased exponent into true exponent by subtracting the respective bias value from the biased exponent. This is your bias value and this is the for second one is the bias value, the first one is the biased exponent. Subtract them, we will get 3 and this 3 is considered as an exponent value. Already we have obtained significant part, biased exponent part and the sign bit from the given floating point number and we have obtained the exponent value as 3. Now substitute everything in the form of a normalized binary number. This is significant number part, this is your exponent value and here 1 which is as an MSB point, significant into 2 to the power of 3, convert into denormalized form, remove the binary point and discard 2 to the power of 3. We get 1100 which is the denormalized binary number. convert this binary number into decimal number, substitute the sign bit value, that is 0, nothing but plus. So the final answer is plus 12. Now coming to the memory location, address and operation representation involved in the computer system. Number and character operands as well as instructions are stored in the memory of the computer system. So whatever the number on which we want to do some task, what are the characters which are represented as an operands, along with the instructions are stored in the computer system. Memory consists of millions of storage cells, each of which can store the information having the value either 0 or 1. Memory is handled in groups of fixed size. A memory is organized so that group of n bits can be stored or retried in a single basic operation. Each group of n bit we refer as word of information and n is called as word length. Modern computers have word length ranging from 16 bits to 64 bits. If I consider 32-bit word length, then it can be represented as B0, B1 up to B30, 31, totally 32 bits. B31 will be 0 for positive number, B31 will be 1 for negative number. This is a signed integer representation. Here this 32-bit can also be represented with an ASCII character for representing the characters. Each character will have one byte location for a storing purpose. To retrieve information from the memory, either one word or one byte address of each location is needed. For example, consider this is the memory location. If I have only 2 bit in my address, B0 and B1, then using this 2-bit binary code, 4 memory locations can be addressed. The address can be 00, 01, 10 and 11. That is an example here. If the address is 2-bit address, then we can address 4 locations. 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 4 location and each location is of 8-bit size. Here, a 14-bit address means totally 16 location can be accessed. 8-bit address, totally 256 locations can be accessed. Byte addressability. It is practical to assign distinct address to individual bit locations in the memory. The most practical assignment is to have the successive addresses refer to the successive byte location in the memory, and this type of memory addressing is called as byte addressable memory. For example, if I have a word length of 8-bit, then each location is accessed. If I have a 16-bit as a word length, 2 bits are accessed at a time. This will be the 0th bit, this will be the first 0th location, this will be the first location. This will be the second location and this is the third location. Like that, at a time, 2 locations are accessed. If the word length is 32-bit, then 4 locations are accessed at a time by the processor. Big Endian and Little Endian assignments. In a Big Endian assignment, lower byte addresses are used for most significant bytes of the word. You can see here, this is the Big Endian. The lower byte addresses are used for most significant of the word. In the Little Bit Endian addressing method, lower byte addresses are used for a less significant bytes of the word. Address ordering of the bytes is based on word alignment. Words are said to be aligned in a memory if they begin at a byte address. That is, if the 16-bit address is there, the word address always starts with the zero address 0, 2, 4 and so on. A 32-bit word is there, the word address starts 0, 4, 8, etc. If 64-bit word length is there, word address starts with the location 0, 8, 16, 32, like that. In order to access number, character and the character string, usually a number occupies one word and it can be accessed in the memory by specifying its word address. Individual character can be accessed by their address. In many applications, it is necessary to handle character string of variable length. The beginning of the string is indicated by the giving address of the first character, and the successive byte locations contains the successive characters. The string length is indicated either by the operator or total length is stored in one of the memory or a register. Now we'll analyze the memory operation. Both program instructions and data operands are stored in the memory. Two basic operations are involved with the memory, that is load and store operations. Load is read operation, transfers a copy of content of specific memory location to the processor. The memory content does not change. Store is a write operation and transfer an item or information from the processor to the specific memory location, destroying the former contents of that particular memory location. Now coming to the instruction and instruction sequencing. A computer must have instructions capable of performing 4 types of operations. Data transfer between the memory and the processor register. Instructions are required to perform the arithmetic and logical operations on the data. Instructions are required for program sequencing and control of the program flow. Instructions are required for I/O transfer. For register transfer notation, it is required to transfer the information between memory locations, processor registers, and the registers in the I/O subsystem in order to carry out any specified task by the computer system. Information transfer between the two memory locations can be considered. Here, the memory locations are accessed and it is given to the processor. From the processor, the data can be stored to the another memory location or an internal register. The information between memory location and the processor register transformation can be analyzed using this pictorial representation. Here, the processor containing certain register has been shown and this is a memory location. The information can be stored from register to the memory or memory to the register using proper instructions. Assembly language notation. Assembly language notation is used to represent machine instructions and programs. Usually, an instruction consists of two parts, opcode and operands. Opcode specifies the operation to be performed on the operands. Operands are the data on which the particular task will be performed. Here, move is opcode, location and the R1, these are the two operands. Another example, add R1, R2, R3. Actual operation, the content of R1 and R2 are added and the sum is stored in R3. Here, add act as an opcode, the remaining R1, R2, R3 are the operands. Basic instruction types. In assembly language, the basic instruction types are zero operand instructions. In this type of instruction, only opcode will be present and operands will be absent. Example, NOP. NOP consists only opcode, there is no any operands, and the NOP performs no operation. Single operand instructions, the single address instructions. Mul R0. It is a single operand instruction consisting mul as an opcode, R0 as only one operand. Here the content of R0 is multiplied with the content of the accumulator and the product is stored in the accumulator. In many of the processor, there will be a specific registers treated as accumulator. Double operand instructions are also called as a double address instructions. Add R1, R2. Add is opcode, R1 and R2 are the two operands. Three operand instructions are also called as three address instructions. Example, add R1, R2, R3. Add is an opcode. R1, R2, R3 are the operands. The speed of execution depends upon the time taken to transfer the instruction from the memory into the processor and to access the operands mentioned in the instructions. Using register, the data transfer operations is very fast and instruction size will be small, and it potentially speed up the execution process. It minimizes the frequency with which the data is moved back and forth between the memory and the processor registers. Thank you.